Good morning, traders. This is Trevor. It is July 29th, Monday morning, about 8:30, an hour before the open. I'm going to give you a little heads up on what I'm looking at for the setup into today and this week. We got a big week this week with, let's see, what do we got? We got Apple earnings tomorrow after the bell. We got the Fed on Wednesday. Big jobs report on Friday. So it's going to be a pretty big week. So here's our setup going into the week. It's a daily chart of the S&P 500. Let me zoom this in a little bit. Here's Friday. We closed at a new all-time high. Strong action in the afternoon. Rallied basically right into the close. And you can see we're pretty far above. And we closed at 30.25. This 5-day moving average is at 3,007. So about 20 points. What is that? 0.75% maybe. Above the 5-day. Futures right now are flat. They're +1. So not looking for a lot of movement so far. But again, we're pretty lofty above here. Our 5 has now moved above the 10 and the 13. You see the 20-day, this green line was our was support last week or a week before when it pulled back. So I mean, it's a really healthy setup. We had a big rally, a nice little pause to refresh down to the 20, and next move higher. That being said, let's look also at VIX because this is the chart I like to throw out there for perspective. I mean, this is a 9-month chart. Let's put on a 3-year. All right, this is a 3-year chart of VIX. You can see since basically the beginning of 2018, we've not really closed or spent much time below this 12. Looks like there's 1131 here, and the absolute bottom or low was down here around 1025. But the point is, closing at 12 on Friday, we're down near this area. So VIX is not going to stay this low forever. So just keep that in mind. Let me flip this back out. I do want to look real quick at a couple trades I'm in right now. So Apple long calls right now into earnings tomorrow. It's just consolidating. We may not see any move really before earnings. I'm inclined to hold this through earnings. Apple has been underperforming the rest of the FANG stocks lately. And we saw what happened with Google. All right, so let's look at Google real quick. I'm actually long puts here. So this was Google's earnings announcement. Huge gap up. Into this gap area. If you look right here, we actually closed this gap, which we say all gaps get closed. It's just a question of when. But there's this is a huge air pocket. I'm not saying we go back to this 1130 range, but I am long some puts here because I do expect at least some probe higher because this was like an 11 or 12% move. That being said, I'm going to flip this over to the ES. So this is the futures, the S&P futures, only because I've got some support and resistance lines drawn here. So I'm going to pull this in, make it a little easier to see. Let me pull off some of the studies here. Oops, remove. Yes. Okay. So here's the ES daily chart. What I want to point out is some levels for today. So this, call it 3,020. This has been support on an intraday basis. This is a daily chart, so it's kind of hard to see. Let me flip over to, this might be a little easier to see. So you got ES on the top here. You can see this 320. This has been, was resistance, now support here. This is an hourly chart. So you got around 30.20, which is 5 points below where we closed. You got another level here at 30.13, another level at 30.10. So these are going to be your levels for probably this week. We're probably going to be pretty quiet into the Fed. I'm expecting not a lot of movement. I don't know that I want to get short call spreads, or at least too aggressively right now, because we're in a grind higher. I mean, this market wants higher. So I'd be cautious. Doesn't mean I won't, but I would be more cautious selling call spreads right now. Iron butterflies are probably a real good idea right now. I also start building some put positions as far as some S&P or S&P, SPY, whatever puts, because again that VIX is not going to stay this low forever. But we're probably going to be fairly quiet through Wednesday, with the exception of some earnings announcements. So, all right, guys, see you at the open. Thank you.